Now for the second part of the quadratics in vertex form, we're going to discuss how P and Q impact the graph or the parabola on the graph. So and this is the part 2 of this, so we're actually going to be curious about that. So let's write part 2, really cool. Part 2. So let's write this out. We have a bracket x minus p squared plus q, and that's our form. Now let's just assume a equals 1. So we're going to write a equals 1 for these. For everything on this page, a equals 1. So now what we have is a graph that's a little bit simpler. We have x minus p squared plus q. Now we know that the vertex, when we write this over here, the vertex is p comma q. So let's consider how q impacts the graph. So we'll say 0. So let's say our vertex is going to be 0 comma 2. So now what we have is x plus 0 or minus 0, so that's just x squared plus 2. Now we want to observe how this impacts it. So we'll do a little graph right here. X and y. So now we know our vertex, it's 0 for x and 2. So it's right here. That's 1, 2. So our parabola starts right there, and it opens upwards. So let me sum it up there. Okay. So this is y equals x squared plus 2. You can see how quick and easy it is to graph these. Okay, well, let's consider a negative here. So let's say, what if y equaled x squared minus 2? Well, our vertex is, all right, our vertex here is now 0 comma minus 2. So we go 0 down to 1, 2. So it's right here. And then we have the same shape, though. The shape hasn't changed. And now this is y equals x squared minus 2. So we kind of observe that q, so q value moves the parabola up for positive for q bigger than 0, and down for q less than 0. And that's what this is. So now let's consider the p-value. So now let's say we have y. Let's write out the standard form, or sorry, the vertex form. And now what we're going to do is just explore how p impacts this. So let's say y equals x minus 2 squared. So our vertex, we now know, is here. It's 2, the opposite sign, and 0. So let's try and graph this out over here. Our vertex is 2 spots to the right, and then the shape hasn't changed. It opens upwards. This is y equals x minus 2 squared. I have to squeeze that in there. Okay, now let's consider if we had a positive in here. So let's say x plus 2 squared. Well, my vertex is the opposite sign, so it's minus 2, 0. Well, that just means we move 2 over here. So this is minus 2, and that was 2. So my vertex is there, but it has the same shape. So it goes up, and then over, and then it goes up to here, and then it's over here. So now we have how x, or how the p-value impacts it. So p-value, right, move the parabola left if p is less than 0, and right if p is greater than 0. Okay, so let's just try 1 with with p and q. So now let's say y equals bracket x. Let's do minus 1 squared minus 3. So our vertex is 1 comma minus 3. So now we'll graph this over here. So we move over 1, and 1, 2, 3, down 3. So this is our vertex. It's 1 comma minus 3. Now we go over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, over 2, up 4. And that's our shape. And this is y equals x minus 1 squared minus 3. So as you can see, you can use p and q to move the graph. It just kind of goes down, over, or up and left, and it just kind of shimmies and shifts the graph. And we call these transformations.